Strange drones over New Jersey.
This is crazy.
Cryptic hints from the president about extraterrestrials walking among us. Area 51. The ultimate mysteries are UFOs and aliens. Are they real? Are they watching us? And most importantly, can I summon one at will? These are the questions I set out to answer by spending the entire night at the legendary UFO Watchtower in Hooper, Colorado, armed with a flawless three-pronged approach that was guaranteed, probably not, to make contact with beings from beyond the stars. If all went according to plan, I would summon a UFO out of the sky and get my anus probed. My first order of business, get the scoop on this very unique place. When I first pulled up to the UFO Watchtower, I had no idea what to expect. The Watchtower itself was a small, quirky structure with an observation deck built into it, and it was sitting on a vast, open plot of land. What was the vibe of this place, you might be asking? It was a mix of, we take UFOs very seriously, and oh, by the way, there's also a mummified lamb fetus sitting in a baby alien case, and also a full horse skeleton on display as well. There's more to come on that next. Inside, I was greeted by walls covered in alien drawings, newspaper clippings, and past sightings in a binder around the area. And you know, if anything's in a binder, that means it has to be true. Among the many exhibits, the two that really stood out to me the most were the preserved remains of Snippy the horse, the skeleton, on display, and of course, the mummified lamb fetus that was labeled as baby alien. Don't worry, I got the scoop on both of those. So back in 1967, Snippy, which she was actually named Lady, I'm not really sure where the name changed, but who cares, was a horse found mysteriously dead in Alamosa, Colorado. But this wasn't your average equinocide. I did make that word up. Snippy's body was reportedly found with very accurate precisions in it. Even weirder, some locals claimed that there were scorch marks around the area where Snippy was killed. And radiation levels were also very high. Naturally, aliens were the obvious conclusion. In the case of the baby alien, it's a classic tale of Farmer Brown misplaced his lamb fetus for 2 decades, and that then became mummified, and then he rediscovered it. And so naturally, he sent it to the Watchtower in a box, slapped a note on it, and put baby alien, shipped it to the Watchtower. Alright, so after questioning the owner in depth with my very good journalistic skills, I got a very thorough history lesson of the building itself and the plot of land and all the activity around it. But now it was time for the first prong of my summoning. I was informed by the owner of 2 vortexes just outside the building, in the garden. It's not really a garden at all. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that's put in the front yard. These mystical energy spots apparently serve as a cosmic welcome mat for the interdimensional being, or at the very least, something to add to the mystique and charge a little bit higher admission fees. So the sign in the garden encouraged visitors to leave something behind to mix their energy with the vortex. So naturally, I made a donation. Nothing says please abduct me quite like a box of squishy little monster and alien trinkets left perfectly in between 2 alien figurines. I could not find a better place to leave my donation. Feeling very spiritually charged up.
I don't know.
I then hovered over both vortex points as eager to experience their powerful energy. These clockwise and counterclockwise vortices, conventionally located at the base of 2 very dead trees, were supposedly swirling with great yet invisible cosmic power. What did I feel? Well, mostly the realization that from an outsider's perspective, I probably just looked like I was caressing and fondling some very old and decaying branches. It truly was a profound moment for me. Interestingly enough, the sign also said that there are 2 large beings that stand guard and protect these vortices, and they can help you if you ask for any help. So I wanted to ask them for assistance. I kind of tried to channel it in my head, but they seemed to be out of office for the day because I did not get any response from them. I did not feel any interdimensional energy coming my way. Well, after giving my donation, I felt that my energy was finally properly mixed. It was time to set up camp now. When I say camp, what I really mean is just me and Luna alone in my car, in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I think we are going to be camping all by ourselves. We are the only car in the lot.
She is going to stay very warm as well underneath everything. In 13-degree weather. How great do you think I slept that night? Not very good. Also, to increase my chances of any UFO visits, I also had to wear the most friendly alien attire that I could find. Supreme Alien Beanie. A very weird hoodie. Doesn't it kind of look like an alien? Looks out of this world.
Jackass Joe's. We're really channeling the aliens tonight.
I mean, what alien wouldn't want to abduct somebody with an alien supreme beanie like the one I was wearing? As the sun set, Luna and I explored the property, high-fiving alien statues and taking selfies with extraterrestrial mannequins. The wind started to really pick up, which only added to the eerie atmosphere as the sun began to set.
It's getting crazy windy. Just listen.
Speaking of eerie as well, there's also an old seat swing that was sitting against the building of the Watchtower, and it just really reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog. This building in the middle of nowhere with a lot of paranormal activity supposedly going around. If only Muriel was also on premise, I would love to meet her. With the sky darkening, now it was time to attempt the second prong of my foolproof UFO summoning. Just manifest the things that come to me. You see, according to a very reliable information source, peer-reviewed experts, all on this very credible app called TikTok, summoning a UFO is as simple as clearing your mind and asking for one to appear. So I did exactly that. I sat in the trunk of my car, really focused my thoughts, and just asked myself and the universe to bring a UFO and an alien to me in my presence by the end of the night. And then I waited till it was completely dark out.
It's about 9 p.m. Did a lot of meditating, and now I'm gonna be heading back to the Watchtower,
where I would implement the third and final prong, and hopefully this would all come together for a UFO encounter. So around 9 p.m., it was time for the grand finale, a ritual I found on Reddit. Because if there's one place that truly understands intergalactic channelings, it's gotta be Reddit.
It's a quite obscure tactic, but they're aliens. They're weird things. We gotta try weird things.
I left Luna in the car because any responsible dog parent would not allow their dog to get abducted first.
I'll be right back, okay? You just stay, hold down the fort.
I made my way to the Watchtower again, but now this time it was pitch black out. And let me just tell ya, alien decorations during the day that are fun and cool and you can take pictures of, at night, when you just have a flashlight on them, becomes very, very terrifying.
Yeah, this shit freaky at night. Aliens do not look cool when it's pitch black out.
At the top of the observation deck, with the wind howling like crazy, I pulled out the Reddit post by user Icarus9 in response to the question, how do I call an alien to me? I took his advice and set his ritual up and waited for the sky to crack open and deliver me to the mothership. And I'm not talking about Joe Rogan's comedy club. And nothing happened.
Shredded cheese and the Shrek 2 soundtrack. Hear me out, aliens.
Not a single flicker of a UFO or even the slightest hint of a weather balloon floating by. It was just me alone in the freezing dark, and I was wondering what went wrong. Maybe I grabbed the wrong bag of shredded cheese. I mean, that could be the only explanation, right? So in a last-ditch effort, I sent my drone up into the sky, just like hoping to find something, just to capture something for you guys. But that's when things kind of got a little bit weird. Suddenly my drone stopped responding to my controls and it started going away from me instead of coming back to me. It almost was like something was interfering with the signal. Coincidence? Probably. Proof that I angered the Vortex Guardians earlier? Most definitely. Defeated, I returned to my car. I was exhausted, I was frozen, and I was questioning all of my life choices. Naturally. Surely I'd be woken up in the middle of the night by an alien abduction, right? Wrong. Instead, I was woken up by the cold. It turns out that 13-degree weather is still very cold even if you have a sleeping bag that's rated for 32 degrees. The car was literally a metal icebox, and sleep became another thing that I would not be seeing like the UFOs tonight. So did I make contact? No, I did not. Did I experience something unexplainable? Not really. But did I spend a night shivering in my car, talking to alien statues, gasping at the beautiful starry sky, and relying on TikTok and Reddit for intergalactical guidance and channelings? Absolutely. The truth is out there, my friends. Just maybe not when it's 13 degrees out. Honestly, if I were an alien scanning for intelligent life, I'd take one look at me, shivering in my car, bundled up like a human burrito, watching YouTube videos at 3 in the morning to pass the time because I couldn't sleep, and I would decide right then and there, Earth is not ready for us yet. If anybody watching has any suggestions of where I should go next, things to explore, things to try out, leave them down below in the comments. I'm always down to try new experiences. Hope you like this video. Subscribe and share with anybody that you think would like this. Peace!